Holodomor is a very heavy topic, so let's take an interim break. Thankfully for us at Midwestern Marks, Ukrainian nationalists are an endless vault of historical revisionism and propaganda that make it very easy for us to create content. We only ask that you meaningfully engage with this content instead of dismissing all dissent as Russian propaganda. But this time, I want to address a point that's largely coming from the Western left. The point that Ukrainian nationalism doesn't give Russia a right to invade Ukraine. Look, it is futile to make moralistic arguments because each side has their view on what is right and what is wrong. We can only look at facts and accept that there will always be contradicting forces at play. What I have sought to explain in these videos is the ideology and the behavior of the Ukrainian far right, starting with the inception of the fascist movement and how play a result in what is happening today. The Ukrainian National Socialists have vowed to eliminate the Russian nation, and their success in garnering institutional power via the military, education, church, the executive, and social life pose an existential threat to the Russian nation and ethnic Russians in Ukraine. If you want an in-depth explanation of the Ukrainian far-right's power today, you can watch my 1-hour-long video on Midwestern Marks YouTube. The reality is that Russia, despite pleas from the Communist Party of the Russian Federation, of Donetsk, of Lugansk, and Ukraine to take militaristic power in liberating Donbass, Putin decided against it for 8 years and pursued a path of peace agreements twice, which failed because the Ukrainian nationalists launched Operation No Capitulation. Zelensky, being pressured by the far-right paramilitaries, vowed to take Crimea and even put troops closer along the eastern border. It was a clear provocation, and despite international agreements, he pursued a path of NATO ascension, which was a clear hard red line for Russia. NATO is a terroristic alliance that has plundered countries like Syria, Libya, and Serbia. It is a neo-colonial war machine, and no country, not even Ukraine, has the right to benefit from the devastation of third world countries. Additionally, the far-right paramilitaries have not quit in their campaign to punish and exterminate Donbass people, and even escalated on attacks that killed civilians, namely children. But it was when Zelensky suggested at the Munich Security Conference that Ukraine may seek renuclearization after 8 years of killing Donbass civilians, threatening to invade Russian territory, and joining NATO, that Putin finally decided to recognize the People's Republics in Donbass. But it was once they were recognized as nations that they asked Russia for assistance in the civil war against Ukraine, that Russia may aid them. War is gruesome, and we should support all peace talks to end civilian casualties. A sad reality of war are abhorrent, and regardless of their views, we don't support senseless death. But the results of today stem from the nationalist endeavors of the past. They stem from nationalist paramilitaries and Ukrainian state provocation at the expense of their people. If you claim to support the Ukrainian people, then you should support peace talks and the denazification of Ukraine.